it all means nothing. Absolutely nothing. You can't take it with you. You go out the same way you came in. So, live your life to the fullest, the best that you can. I like to share with y'all some of the values and some of the things he taught me. Because if you knew Papa, just like Victor said, the man just knew a lot about a whole lot of different things. And, you know, through experiences, but a lot of it was through reading, you know. He loved to read. And he always told me, you know, just, you know, read. Don't just read one genre, just, you know, read different things. It'll balance you out. It'll open up your mind. So, you know, when he spoke, I have the privilege of having him. I'm 45 now, so I'm honored that I was able to have him that long, because a lot of people do not have their fathers that long, you know, and so I'm grateful for that. And I feel as though he set me up. He set me up on a path to know that I'll be okay, you know. Even if it's not here, I'll be okay. My kids will be okay. My family will be okay, because when he spoke, I listened, and he built me for this. Like Victor said, he always said, work hard. In all that you do, work hard. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if you're cleaning the toilets. Clean it the best you can. And I guarantee you won't be cleaning toilets for long. Whatever you do, don't do it half-assed. I'm sorry for saying that. Just do it to the best of your ability. Okay? Don't go halfway. Another thing he taught me was to enjoy nature. That's one of the reasons why he really enjoyed moving here. Because back in Massachusetts, it's a lot fast-paced. It's not like this. So being here really gave him another level. It opened up a new dimension, because it was quiet around here. You know, he was a thinking man, so he's able to sit here, listen to the birds, look at the trees, and just think. You know, so plus the people here are very nice. You know, they say hi to you even when they don't know you. You know, it's not like back home. You know, and you know, Robert tells a story. And, you know, when he first moved there, and he'd be driving and everybody be waving. You know, he's like, why are all these people waving? You know, they don't know me. You know, Robert told him this. That's the way they are. People around here are friendly. You know, so so he opened up. He really opened up. He opened up to a lot of people, and he ended up making a lot of friends around here. So coming here, he didn't think that he'd like it as much as he did, but he loved it here. He tells of a story, and he told this story to. He told me the story when Robert picked me up from the airport. Robert was telling me the story that he told him too. He was like, I could sit here and I could hear a leaf drop, you know? And he said one day I was out there early in the morning, because he always got up at 5. The man's retired, you know, he could have slept till noon, but he always got up at 5. It was just built to him. No alarm clock needed. So he said I was out here having my coffee, and I'm watching. I see a lizard. You know, one of these lizards. I see a lizard. The lizard's running. The lizard snatches a grasshopper, right? Tears it apart, eats some, and then takes off. You know, breaks it up into small pieces. And then later on, out came the ants. the ants came, the ants ate the rest of the pieces that the lizard left behind. So he was like, you know what? That right there, it's a natural law. He talked a lot about natural laws. You can learn a lot just by observing nature. Don't just take a picture of a beautiful sunset and post it. Actually enjoy it. You know, sit there and enjoy it. And that same lesson also has to do with greed. The lizard could have ate the whole thing, but whatever reason he didn't. That's a natural law. He left some for the ants. So that's a lesson in greed. Don't be greedy. Don't take more than you can handle. You know, always leave a little bit for the next person. But in order to be able to see nature, we have to learn how to be still. You know, there's so much going on. Our cell phones are beeping all the time. There's this and that, people calling, the news flashes, especially with this COVID-19 going on. But we have to learn to be still, and we have to learn to be okay being alone. We have to be okay with being solitude, because that's the only way that we could truly connect with the Most High. You're not going to find answers to your problems out there. We have to look inside. But in order to do that, you have to be still. You have to be quiet. One of the other values he taught me was forgiveness. He said, you got to learn to forgive. Forgive the other person. And by doing that, you forgive yourself. You free yourself. Forgive yourself. It's okay. Don't forgive with the intention of hoping to get something back. Let it go. And you'll feel lighter. You free yourself. Don't wait for that person to come and apologize. It's okay. We're all here for a short period of time, and it doesn't make any sense to hold grudges or be mad at somebody for whatever reason, because I can guarantee you right now, whoever it is, whether it's family, friends, or whatever, if they were to be gone today, you would forgive them. You still wouldn't be mad at them. So why not do it while they're here? Another lesson he taught me about was on kindness. Be kind when you can. And God will bless you for it. Don't do it with the intention of expecting something back. Just do it. And God will take care of the rest. Like I said, during the past couple of weeks, we really got to talk a lot. So it's still all fresh in my head, a lot of the things that he said to me. And one of the other values he talked to me about the word justice. Justice, not in the sound of judiciary or law or any of that, but justice in the meaning of fairness, respect to everybody. Just behavior and treatment. Treating everybody fairly. He could talk to anybody because he didn't distinguish or treat anybody any different from another person because of their race, gender, status, or whatever. To him, if you were a person, he'll give you the respect that you give him. Said by being that, you learn to live a balanced life. That's why if you see like the scales of justice, there's always, it's always on balance, right? Another value he taught me was honesty. Be honest. Be honest with yourself. Be honest in the things you do. Be honest in the things you say. Because a lie is indefinite. You tell a lie, you have to tell another lie to cover it. And then another lie to cover that lie. And it goes on and on and on. Sooner or later, you're going to forget your first lie. Right? But if you tell the truth, you only have to tell it one time. So in that respect, the truth really shall set you free. Another thing we talked about was energy. Because if you lose focus, you could waste a lot of energy doing things that will not benefit you or anybody else. You have to learn to focus your energy and channel your energy and not put your energy in wrong things. And the way you do that is by not going against the grain, by not going against the wind, right? If you go with the grain, you're able to flow easier. If you go with the wind, you're using less energy, right? And that's also another natural law. When we talked about the salmon, the fish, the salmon, it's probably the only animal that swims upstream. It's a lot of work, but they do it to survive. And what happens at the end of it all, once they spawn, a lot of them die because they're swimming upstream. That's because they have no choice, but we do. So don't fight it. Go against the grain. And same thing could be said for boxing and boxers. A boxer will tell you to roll with the punches. By rolling with the punches, you're able to absorb it that much better. Like I said, another big thing he was on was reading. He always read. He read a lot. Even down to I look in his room and he's got like a list of books that he wants to read. He's always suggesting books to me to read, recommending books to me to read. And because of him, I have a love for reading. I'm trying to teach my kids that, but sometimes I'd rather be playing video games. But I tell him that because he told me that reading saved his life. It may sound strange. Well, how can reading save your life? Yeah. And he was like, yeah, no joke. Seriously. Reading saved my life. Because reading was able to allow me to transcend my mind from whatever situation I'm in the dark situation. It was able to lift me into a different place through my mind. Even though I may be in the midst of a tornado, if I'm able to read and I'm able to learn from people who are dead and people who are alive, people who are smarter than me, I'm able to open up my mind. I'm able to lift myself. So for that, it's very important to read. So probably in the beginning of March, I get the opportunity to read to some preschoolers, And I read this book called big bro's coming. The twins actually gave it to me. So I'm like, when they asked me if I wanted to volunteer, I was like, hell yeah. So I took the book and I read it to the kids. This was right before they closed school. Little 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, and I haven't got it on YouTube. Y'all want to watch it? And so I sent them the video. I was like, man, because it made me feel good to see the kids' faces and their joy, and so I texted him. I'm like, guess what? I got to read to 3-4-year-olds. It's the highlight of my day. And he was like, oh, that's the he was like, I texted him. He was like, okay, I'm at the doctor's with Shirley, but yeah, that's the highlight of my day too. Then later on, a couple days later, he sends me a text. This is after he come home and relax. He sends me a text. He was like, man, I'm still floored that what you did reading to the kids. And to me it wasn't a big deal, but reading was such a huge part of him, was so important to him, that because he was like, reading is what got me out of the dark places. Reading is what got me to where so to him, that was a big deal for him. He was like, you've done a lot of good things, but this one takes it all. I'm like, really? Reading to 3-year-olds? Like, okay, I'll take it. So reading is very important. Reading allow him to continue to learn, and as you get older, you start getting like Alzheimer's and all, dementia and all this other stuff. When you reading is like exercise for your brain. You could work out and, do all the physical things, but if you don't read, your mind will start to deteriorate, right? And reading is how you exercise your brain. So as you get older and older, the more you read, you're able to keep up. You're able to exercise your mind. You're able to exercise your brain. He was a teacher, back in Ghana, but when he came here, his credentials didn't transfer. So, he taught whoever would listen. Even back to this day, a bunch of my friends still talk about, hey, remember when Papa sat us down and, was talking about this, And, one of the things they always bring up, he drew a circle, right? A big circle. And he put a dot in the center. And he told us, I was a teenager back then. And my friends still bring it up. He was like, remember when Papa said, and he told us that in life, you got to have a circle, right? You got to keep some people in the circle. You got to keep some people out of your circle, okay? You got to protect your circle. And a couple of weeks ago, he told me, because he was going through a lot, with Shirley being sick and all, and he was like, man, let me tell you, this is harder than any physical pain I've ever had to deal with, because physical pain, when it'll end. If you break your leg, that sooner or later it's going to heal. Or if you have a headache, you can take aspirin, or if you get a cut, you can put a Band-Aid on it. But the other kind of pain that he was going through was the emotional pain, the heartache, and he said, this is hard. This is the hardest thing I've had to do. So he was like, in life, you have to find a person who's going the same way that you're going, who's traveling the same path that you're traveling on. If there's anybody in your life who's undercutting you, doing things to stress you out, to hurt you, just to making your life miserable. It doesn't matter if they're friends, family, cousin, wife, husband, whatever. You got to cut them. You got to cut them. You got to let them go. Because in the end, after it's all said and done, you need the people who are going to be there by your side. And that's how he was for Shirley, because she was always there by his side. And he couldn't allow anything to happen to her. Most people who know Papa says he's a quiet man. He could be quiet, but he could talk too. You know, and he always told me, always listen. Just listen. By listening, excuse me. By listening, you learn a lot more than you would if you were talking. Because when you're talking, most people are not listening. They're busy thinking about what they want to say to you after you finish talking what you have to say. You know? So by listening, just by being quiet, people will tell you everything you need to know. They will tell you their life story. You know, that's why God gave us 2 ears and one mouth. You know? You listen more than you talk. And he also taught me to embrace hardship, embrace suffering. You know, not suffering in a physical sense, but, you know, embracing life's challenges and obstacles and, you know, difficulties. Because in life, there are going to be some difficulties and challenges and walls and obstacles. Embrace it. Don't run from it. If you run from it, you're going to see it in a different way. Accept it. Walk through it. Figure out a way. It may seem like there's no end, but by sticking to your guns and keep pushing forward, eventually you will break through the wall. And when you do that, it's going to give you an extra layer. You're gonna build yourself up for the next one. It'll make you that much stronger. It'll make you tougher. And you're able to take down the next challenge easier. When he visited DC, he texted me. He saw this guy wearing his t-shirt, and there was a quote on the t-shirt. And he was so excited about the quote. He called me. He sent me a picture of the t-shirt. He was like, "Man, look at this." And the quote was, "Give us the strength." I want to make sure I get this right. It said, "Don't ask for an easy life, but ask for strength to endure the race/life that we've been given." So don't run from it. Face it head on. It'll make you stronger. But I'd have to say the biggest topic we talked about the past couple of weeks was love. He talked to me about love. He said the love that he had for Shirley wouldn't allow him to do less than. He had a lot of love for her. They were married for 41 years. And he talked about